Hello and welcome. My name is Jessica Gem. Every year in the month of July, artists from all over the world participate in a battle of epic proportions. A confrontation of characters, a brawl of brushes, a struggle of sketches, a dispute of drawings, a tussle of tablets, a wrestle of writing, a melee of masterpieces.
Get on with it already.
Ahem. Art fight. But yes, this event started in 2007 by a user named Blanket and has been running for the, 17 years since? Man, I feel old. Personally, I was only in one art fight before. 2 years ago in 2021. I was on Team Steampunk and we won. But I have returned to the paint-splattered battlefield once more. For those unaware, Art Fight is basically a giant OC fan art exchange. All players are split into two teams and you attack other artists by drawing their characters. Each person gets to make a profile with as few or as many, up to 100 at least, characters for other people to choose to attack. You get points based on the quality of art, amount of time spent, how rendered it is, etc., which you input when you submit an attack. You can also friendly fire people on your own team, which doesn't give as many points but can be just as fun anyway. If you respond to another person's attack with one of your own, that's called a defense, and both of you get cool art from each other. I did updated headshots for the 3 Monster Girl OCs I had on there last year, as well as adding a couple Celestia ones, Gemstone, and my Flex. This year I was on Team Seafoam, and we're up against Team Stardust. I saved a few pages to attack before the fight even started, and how I normally find characters is by clicking the random user button and seeing who has neat characters. Also, I did ask everyone in this video for permission. Any requested links will be left below. The first one I found was this pink Cyclops named Kandy by Bonyet, who I thought would be super fun to draw with August, my own Cyclops OC. Only upon further inspection did I realize that some of the ones I saved were from my own team, so I ended up not doing most of those, but this idea really appealed to me. In the description provided, it says she typically wears clothes from the 60s/70s, so I gave them both two-piece playsuits. But since it's a half body, you'll just have to imagine the bell-bottoms. I used a new brush to keep it loose. I think their colors and styles went great together, and I'm really happy with how this came out. The next one I did was actually a revenge for the first ever initiated attack against me. Guy Nicholas drew this adorable gemstone, so I decided to get back at them by drawing their characters Wilhelm Green and Trisha Lyons. Based in a 1920s speakeasy, the half-elf vampire cleric Will takes hit jobs and feels himself nearly invincible due to his unique combination of characteristics. He uses his healing magics to unheal those that someone with cash to spare no longer wants around. The proprietress of the establishment, Trisha, enjoys his company as a trusted companion in a world of underground violence and gang activity. She puts on a brave face and uses her wits and charms to take care of the business that was passed to her by her late father. I really wanted to pull off a little slice of a setting for them, since I want to be able to ground my and other characters in activities and worlds that suit them, which is also why I made it kind of comic-y. I'm actually super pleased with the composition and how effective the background became, even though it's got very little actual detail, and I feel the characters fit quite well into their surroundings. The poses also turned out really dynamic and pleasing, despite being quite a struggle throughout. I looked at references for her hairstyle, the clothing, and the setting, so if anything is inaccurate, blame Google. JK, me too. Overall, I totally love this one. And after that, it was a little bit before I got back into Art Fight. As you may have noticed, I've been missing videos, which I am sorry about. I've been dealing with some health stuff, but I am trying my best, I promise. For the one I started back on, I chose it because I like the color palette and design. I don't normally use pinks and greens as much, but it seems I'm drawn to them at the moment, considering the characters I chose in this video. This is Briseis by Shadowtime, I have no clue if I pronounced that right. She is a river nymph high schooler who plays as a setter on the volleyball team. When I read that, my high-Q brain activated and I knew I wanted to do a cool, dynamic volleyball pose. I really wanted to get a lot of movement in the hair and clothes for the action shot. And in the end, I also used a blur to really sell it. I got to come up with my own logo idea for the team, which is called Five-Finger Death Spike. Very epic. I made it a hand smacking a volleyball with some mysteriously splattery effects coming off. I wonder what that could be. I gave her number 6 to reference the 6 Daydreamers magical girl group that she's a part of. As expected, I struggled a bit with my vision for the colors and did a lot of messing around, but eventually I got it to a place I was happy with, added a few designy elements to make it look like an anime splash screen or manga cover, and finished off with highlights. I'm super happy with how the anatomy ended up and satisfied with how the colors turned out. Up next was supposed to be a piece that I'll show later, but I ended up getting stuck in an art rut because of the animatic and couldn't finish it right away, so here's this one for now. I was really wanting to draw but had absolutely no motivation, so I searched through random users for a while before stumbling across Gremlin Friend. I saw their little creatures and thought, hey, these look cute and silly enough for me to do a quick piece. And I was right. These are called Firms, which I believe means furworms, presumably based off those worm on a string toys. Tovolar is a shy, chocolate-scented firm who likes cuddles and is larger than other members of his species. Noodles is a mischievous but friendly lemon-scented firm who likes practical jokes and cowboys. And light bulbs just lit up when I saw those descriptions together. What better pairing than a jokester who likes cowboys with a big firm who loves physical contact? Gremlin Friend's creature designs are really cool, so check out their Insta linked below. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, I had a bit of a rough July, so this next one is the last piece I was able to get to for this year's art fight. Quick warning, it is a little spicy. Andreas, by DaVinci, is a tiefling druid who likes to flirt, and apparently frequently ends up in bed with others due to his, quote, weird and off-putting riz, end quote. I'ma be honest, I chose him because he's hot. I really like the style of this drawing and the anatomy of him as well, so yeah, I wanted to do a cool fighting pose with a skimpy little outfit. Sue me. Well, don't. Please. I'm thinking he tried to flirt with the wrong person, and they ended up being an enemy in disguise. Perhaps someone he slighted through his scams or promiscuous behavior. After drawing the first sketch is when I took a break, as I mentioned before, because my brain just could not figure out what was wrong with the anatomy. It doesn't show in the time-lapse, but I was fiddling back and forth with it for quite a while before undoing it all and leaving it for another time. It turns out the face was at the wrong angle on the head. Upon coming back to it, I tweaked it a bit more until it looked right, and then got to lining, which I didn't like my first few attempts of, but settled on a brush that had an interesting shape with hard pixel edges, and once I loosened up, I had a lot more fun. Being less precise and just going for it helps me a lot with speed when I'm just trying to get something done, while also having the side effect of giving it more of that sketchy energy, so I think it worked out really well for this one. I tried something interesting for the coloring where I rendered the cloth and the body under it with a softer contour, and then did the rest of it with hard-edged shadows and highlights. I feel like it would be fun to try this again, but go more intense with it to make it more clear and contrasted, and also do the reverse, or with other styles. The finishing touches of scars and blood, and that's my Art Fight 2024! Huge thanks for everyone in this video for allowing me to use the pieces, and also to everyone who participated in Art Fight. You made it a really fun time. We'll find out who wins soon. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully next time I'll get to do more, and maybe even some of yours? But that's all for now, so farewell and have a wonderful day.